Welcome to ESGN TV. Coming up tonight, we highlight the stories happening around CSGO. Susie talks to us about her latest adventures in Korea. And Dorjan from WarGaming stops by to review and preview. Stay in your seat. Daily News starts now. Hello from Studio 1 in Babelsberg. Dan Cho reporting in for another exciting day of esports. Tonight is January 9th, and on this day in history, Mouse Sports picked up their Warcraft 3 roster and became a multi-gaming team in 2002. Also, in 2007, Steve Jobs presented the first ever iPhone, and even though I'm an Android guy, still pretty cool. Let's begin our news with some recent information that our partner ESL released. Details of the EMS1 CSGO circuit has been announced with its season finals at IEM Kattowice. The community-funded prize pool will be a whopping $250,000. 8 teams from DreamHack Winter, Fnatic, NIP, X-Very Games now known as Titan, X-Copenhagen Wolves, Recursive, LGB, Complexity, and X-Asana Dragons. The remaining 8 teams will be decided by 2 non-European invites and 6 qualifiers in different regions: Poland, Germany, France, Nordic region, CIS, and the UK. The qualifiers begin as soon as the 10th of January, so if you want to sign up, head over to csgo-ems1.com. Another league like ESL that has a rich history in Counter-Strike is ESEA, who announced their LAN Season 15 last August. The playoffs for the Invite Division have already begun and will finish at the LAN in Dallas, Texas from January 17th to the 19th. Other festivities include the Invite All-Star Game and individual skill competitions for the community to see. Meanwhile, the Intermediate Division will continue all the way until January 28th, and the Open Division will conclude February 6th. For more information, head over to play.esea.net. Now, we've mentioned them as the X-Very Games, but that isn't their title anymore. Titan eSports has officially signed Very Games' CSGO team. 2013 was a breakout year for the French, as they were able to beat out NIP in tournaments like the Raid Call EMS Summer 2013 and the Fall 2013 Final. The former VG team cemented themselves as a top team in the competitive scene. However, despite the great performances, Very Games announced last November they did not have the financial support to keep on going and plan to close shop at the close of 2013. Now, it was only a matter of time before an organization would swoop in to grab the talented roster. Evil Geniuses even teased publicly that they flirted with the idea of picking up a new CS team. But instead, Titan eSports, an organization primarily known for their Dota 2 squad, were the ones to do it. The new Titan eSports team will move to Brussels for their new training facility. Good luck to Titan, and we wish them the best in 2014. The other top teams haven't been idle either, as Astana Dragons, or Ex-Astana Dragons rather, have a new sheriff in town. Adrian will be stepping up to the captain's role to try and lead the team. After setting high expectations with a great performance at ESWC, the roster was ultimately dropped after disappointing finishes at DreamHack Winter Top 8 and Star Series Finals where they got Top 4. Can this team once again be a top contender? We'll find out as they prepare for the upcoming EMS1 event. We'll keep you posted on any updates. Speaking of the big pro circus, the League of Legends Championship Series, or LCS, starts soon with Europe beginning on the 14th. We thought we knew all 8 teams for the spring split, but last night, Riot declared Lemondogs ineligible for competition after failing to submit a lineup with proper documentation. Instant message conversations between LD players stating their remorse over the situation has further fueled speculation that LD management is responsible at large. Consequently, 3 teams who lost their promotional series will compete for a spot instead: Ninjas in Pajamas, Meet Your Makers, and Super Hot Crew. Assuming the squads have kept 3/5 of their players from the promotional series, well, we will see them battle out at the decider soon, as EU LCS will begin in 6 short days. Now, some people might be confused as to why this sudden rule change in particular and how it balances with the Alliance EG situation. Our partner GameFi was covering the story earlier, and our reporter Christy Rathbone provided us with this explanation.
A while while ago, Alliance, the world champions of Dota 2, assembled a League of Legends team by splitting EG into a North American squad and European separate team, Alliance. Besides the 2 original players, Froggen and Wicked, 3 new team members have been obtained. This allows Alliance to form a new team and qualify for LCS. For a while, this method was used by many League of Legends teams who could not qualify for LCS. However, Riot recently announced new rules that forbids the teams from participating in LCS region and any aspect of the Challenger Series if their roster has completely changed or if they have recruited new players. Riot made it very clear that changes in ownership of teams may only occur between splits, which means after the most recent playoffs and promotion matches. Also, no team may have more than 2 players at a time that have been from a different team that played in either region of LCS or the Challenger Series in the last 2 completed splits. On top of this, no team can trade more than 2 players off another LCS team. Due to these new rules, Alliance has completed their acquisition and personal adjustments, and they will remain qualified for LCS. These new regulations have only been announced for LCS in Europe and America, but as the sponsor for global LCS, Riot will not rule out the possibility to apply the new provisions into other kinds of eSport professional leagues.
Thanks again, Christy and GameFi. LCS begins shortly on the 14th with Europe first before NA on the 17th. Don't miss it, twitch.tv/RiotGames. When we return, we see what Husky has been up to with his channel, and Susie Kim from Korea shows us around town. This is the Daily News. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Daily News. Throughout the week, Susie Kim has been diligently running around Korea to catch the stories at OGN, GSL, NSL, and more. Tonight, however, she has a cool segment for us featuring a free-to-play FPS game called Sudden Attack. I've personally never seen it before, but I'm excited to find out.
Susie Kim with ESGN TV. We all know the heavy hitters of esports. We've got StarCraft, League of Legends, and Dota 2. However, here in Seoul, we have a ton of other games that are being covered and being sponsored by all sorts of different companies. Right now, I'm standing in the GOM TV studios covering Sudden Attack. Sudden Attack is a Korean game that's very similar to Counter-Strike, and it's such a huge deal here that the men's league, there's 2 leagues. There's a women's league and a men's league. The men's league first place prize is still $100,000 equivalent, give or take, and the women's league still is about $20,000. Right now I'm standing at the semifinals, and if you guys are interested in watching some more, Sudden Attack will be on every Monday at 6:30 Korean Standard Time, and their finals are due to be held on the 27th.
So as you can see there are budding esports scenes everywhere, and if you want to see more, follow Susie Kim on Twitter. I encourage you to do, because she posts pictures of where she travels as well, so you can get a neat look behind the scenes. So ESL's first seasonal cup of 2014 has been played also for Battlefield 4. European teams from both known and aspiring organizations came together to win points leading up to the season finals, which has a $120,000 prize pool. 3 more cups are yet to be played in January and February until the finals, which are TBD. Fnatic claimed first, with Meet Your Makers and Team Dignitas rounding out second and third for the first competition. Congratulations to all the winners. Make sure to catch the rest of the cups as well that you can see on your plate. Now, not too long ago, MatchFest and Super Arcade came together to celebrate the life of Nelson EMP Remix Reyes and raise money for his family. Launching a U-Caring page for the Marvel Remix, the event featured Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and UMVC 3 tournaments that had superstars like Justin Wong, Filipino Champ, Clockwork, and Cloud 805. Other fun activities included East vs. West Marvel 2 battles. Overall, the Marvel Remix raised a little over $13,000. That's an incredible number, and the FGC should be very proud. You can find out the VODs. I won't spoil the results for you. Twitch.tv/IE Battlegrounds. Now, you may know him from his enthusiastic StarCraft 2 cast and the parody music videos. Husky is a household name to a lot of StarCraft fans around the world. However, it's not the only Blizzard game that's caught Mike's attention. He announced recently he's hosting his own Hearthstone Invitational, featuring a few of his StarCraft 2 buddies, Tasteless, Artosis, Sheth, and Trump. The group stage will feature round-robin play, and the first matches have been posted, but I won't spoil that either. Go and see it for yourself, youtube.com/HuskyStarCraft. Now, while Husky is organizing his Hearthstone tournament, yesterday, MLG announced that they will be getting back into StarCraft 2 at Anaheim with an America Online competition, which will be a combination of an open bracket and invites. During the press release, Adam Apicella stated, quote, after taking a close look at the StarCraft 2 activity in 2013, we wanted to build something in 2014 that the StarCraft 2 community needed and wanted. We've learned that community interaction and involvement is essential in creating a successful tournament scene. We really want to creating something that is enjoyable to watch, fun for players, and help develop talent within the Americas. We'll be reading and incorporating feedback throughout the planning and execution of this activity. So the format will be 16 players, WCS group stage 2 times over until there's a round of 4 bracket, and the tournament prize pool will be $5,000 casted by Root Cats and Destiny. The tournament begins January 19th, and if you want more information, head on over to gameon.gg. Let's take a break. When we come back, Dorjan from WarGaming drops in for a chat about 2014 and World of Tanks. This is the Daily News. We'll be right back.
We will win every series, for sure.
Be prepared to see Hearthstone like you've never seen it before.
We do have some secret things planned, so you should watch out.
Friday Night Hearthstone continues later this evening with episode number 4, and after a confident start, Team Doggy House find themselves in a hole, down 1-2. Tune to find out what happens between StrifeCrow and Nyx, as they are the last remaining players who will fight for glory and some money. So 2013 was a great year for WarGaming.net as they celebrated their 15th anniversary, and they released their new game, World of Warplanes, and had a giant coming out party for their pro circuit, the WGL. For those unfamiliar with World of Tanks esports, what you need to know is that Russia dominates the scene so forcefully that they have their own region of play. And not to mention that the Russian teams are also bleeding over into Europe. Think similar to Blizzard's WCS system and the Korean invasion. I got a chance to talk with Luke Dorjan, the caster over for Russia's Golden League, and here's what he had to say. I'm joined now by a video producer and caster for World of Tanks at WarGaming. Thank you so much for joining me, Dorjan.
It's nice to be here.
But first, before we begin, can you introduce yourself and tell people who you are?
Sure. My name's Luke Dorjan, as many people in the World of Tanks scene at least know me for the casts I've done over 2013, hosting the events for our Golden League, which is one of our pro circuits in Russia.
Well, you also do some video content with eSports show, is that correct, Dorjan?
That's right. It's one of many shows, actually, I do here. But the main focus we have for 2013, at least, was something called the eSports Show. We had 2 versions, one for Russia, one for Europe and America. And I was the host of that. And it was just a little show that is for our already following audience to keep them up to date with the news, the latest results, and any dramas that's happened inside of our pro circuit.
What about World of Tanks excites you personally and gives you hope for the game, in your opinion?
It's one of these games that's easy to learn how to master. It's that perfect combination of, having fun immediately and also having fun when you've played 20,000 battles. It's one of these games that you can pick up for 5 minutes and put down again, but you can still play for absolutely ever and over-focus on the game and never get bored. So as a watcher of the sport, I really like just the finite movements that people have got to do. It's not as limited as chess, and it's probably not as explosive as some of the other games games with quick action. So it's more of a thought game where there's lots of things that can happen, and it's set pieces, so it's in small chunks. Whereas an RTS game, for example, lasts for 30, 40 minutes, and it's a big growth. You see what path they're going when they're building this, that, and the other. Water tanks, immediately, as soon as it starts, you know roughly what they can do because they have their lineup at the start. But then we play more battles. We have, between each team, we have best of sevens and stuff like that, and we're trying to get that process down to having more and more battles between the teams as quickly as possible to excite the audience. You bring up the point of 742, our main format, which we now call Team Battle Mode. That has had some questions from the audience because prior to the last 2 months, it wasn't actually accessible in the game client. You would have to set up a training room and play between yourselves using that format. And so it was very unusual to the average person who played it. They play the game, like with most other games, they play the game, you watch this pro scene, it's the same thing. And not so for World of Tanks, and that's because it's a 15 versus 15 game, and you can't really have 15 versus 15 in a cyber sport at the moment. It's just not really feasible. So we limited it to 7, and we have 5 combat tanks and 2 scout tanks, and that's basically how we run it at the moment. I think it's just taken a bit of time for the general population that play the game already to understand the mode, and we are working on making it more viewer friendly. Many games have this rough spot when they first start. All the major games, including the big Titan and the elephant in the room, they had poor visual for the audience at first, and after development, after a few years, they became better and better and better and better. And I'm hoping that's where we're going in 2014. By the end of this, we're going to have a really good spectator feel and experience.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the big limiting factors, but I also recognize the potential of World of Tanks, having worked on it myself. I just want to see 7 Hellcats more often because I think that's just a fun strategy. You never get to see that. I've actually said that
myself. The 7 Hellcat thing, I've actually said myself. When I'm going through a bit of lull, because obviously at the moment, with the way certain maps work, there can be some long draws. Like with any game, there can be standoff farming games, right? And I kind of wish, and I'm talking to my co-casters, saying, you know, I just wish they picked 7 Hellcats and go at each other, because it can just be crazy that sometimes. So yeah, I totally know where you're coming from.
Sounds like a good sudden death option in the future. The February European Championships in Poland is coming up soon, so definitely make sure to catch that. Dorjan, any last message, comments, and thank yous before we let you go?
I think that's a good message to end on. See you in Poland.
All right. Follow Dorjan on Twitter, twitter.com/DorjanR. Thanks again, Luke, for stopping by, and good luck in 2014.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks again to Luke. You can follow him on all his media links as you see on the screen. It won't be the last time you see him, though. We'll be sure to catch up throughout the year as WarGaming has lots planned for WGL. Also, Go for World of Tanks is going on January 12th, 3-on-3, 7-on-7. So go ahead and sign up for it at esl.eu. Since we talked so much about CSGO at the top of the show, it only felt right that we also recognized an article that came out recently on a CS legend, Moto, who was a player who earned over $230,000 competing and brought tactical leadership that helped push American teams onto the international platform. Therefore, our community spotlight tonight is on Thorin's piece on Moto, who has a perspective both as a player and as a friend. You can see the passion throughout Thorin's writing, detailing the highs and lows of Moto's colorful career. It's not a short read, but it's a damn good one. Thorin is a senior content writer at OnGamers, and if you want to read the piece, you can find it over at ongamers.com under the CSGO section. And finally, with our art spotlight, we also want to show you guys some cool sculptures that this one guy has been doing. Mankesh has been sculpting cool characters in games that you love. We just saw Fizz, Misfortune. I even saw a Zergling, there it is, in the back room the other day. And if you're ever curious on what he's doing, you can find it out at twitter.com/mankesh_design, or you can look at his DeviantArt for the full collection. And with that sentimental look back and art display, let's finish the show with a look forward into the 5-day forecast. Tomorrow night is going to be the OGN Winter Semis #2 between Samsung Ozone and Najin White Shield. The following day is also the 3rd EU Challenger League qualifier. Make sure if you're a Masters League player with 200 wins, you sign up for that opportunity. And if you miss it, don't worry. On Sunday, you'll also have the opportunity once again for the ladder wildcard. On Monday, we have the Go for StarCraft 2, where you can earn some nice money. And on Tuesday, it's a big match. It's All In versus Zephyr for NSL Season 3. Good luck, Blitz, Purge, and crew, because you guys, well, a lot of people are rooting for you. Definitely check all that stuff out, but don't forget that we are also on the air tomorrow, same time, same place. That's a wrap for the Daily News from Dan Show and the rest of the crew here at ESGN TV. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for Fight Night.